All right, guys, we're going to talk about scheduling. Okay, there's a smart way to schedule, and honestly, if you mess up the scheduling of an office, you can screw the whole office over. And if you can make more money if you schedule properly. You can, schedule improperly and then just make the bare minimum. But if you want bonuses and things like that, you got to schedule properly and do it the smart way. Okay. So this is a blank schedule right now. We're going to talk about it. You'll see that there are lines that are going across here. These are 10-minute increments. So this is, I know it's hard to see, but this is 9 a.m. This is 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and then it goes down to 5, but you can only kind of see to about 4 p.m. This is our lunch period, so you see where it's grayed out, so it kind of helps you guys do that. And then you have column 1, column 2, and column 3. You can, depending on your office and how many columns you're going to have, but generally one of them is going to be your hygiene column. So this is the column. These are all patients listed here are going to be the ones seeing the hygienist for cleaning. This is going to be your doctor, and this is going to be doctor. Okay. Generally, one doctor has 2 assistants, okay? This is why being an expanded functions dental assistant is so important. Because while you're doing something here, like taking x-rays, right? While you're taking x-rays, he can be seeing the patient with the other assistant over here. And then when you're done with the x-rays, he can come back. So he can kind of go back and forth, but he can't do that if you don't know your expanded functions. So that's why you having your expanded functions is so important, because it helps him bounce between 2 appointments. Okay, so you can see more people, which means to make more money. It means a bigger bonus for you. Okay, so let's talk about scheduling stuff. Let's say that we have a patient who comes in here. All right, and let's say we're going to do an exam, and we'll do a comp exam. So a comp exam or a comprehensive exam is a full exam where we're looking at everything. So that means we have to take all the x-rays, look at all the teeth for cavities, and decide what type of cleaning that you need. And let's say the patient is John Smith. Okay? Over here you're going to see a column on the left side of it. Some offices use this, some do not. It really depends on your office. But what it basically means is who's going to be in the room with that patient and when, so you can kind of map out the appointment. So in general, an X equals doctor, a slash equals assistant, and nothing equals waiting. Okay, so if this is a comprehensive exam, that means it's probably the first time we've ever seen them. So what do they got to do when they come in? They got to fill out paperwork. So do I want to tell this patient to come in at 10 a.m. or do I want them to come in around 9:45 to fill out paperwork? I mean, I'd rather them come in early. You're going to tell them to come in at 9:45 and they're still going to show up at 10, right? So you have to really work with people on how long it takes them to fill out paperwork and things like that. But ideally, I want them to come in around here and then do the paperwork. And then when they get here, this is when they're sitting down in my chair, right? So the first couple of minutes of the appointment are going to be with you or I, right? This is going to be with the assistant, because the first couple, let's say the first 20 minutes is going to be assistant time. So I'm going to put 2 slashes here. Again, the slash means assistant. During this time is when we're going to do x-rays. We're going to review paperwork. Right, so we're going to go over their medical history, we're going to make sure that they filled out everything properly, and we're going to talk to them and find out what's going on with them. Are they in pain? Do they want to do braces? Do they want to whiten? Do they want an extraction? Why? How long has it been since your last cleaning? We're going to go through all that stuff with them and what they want out of the appointment. If you don't talk to them about what they want, those are the people who don't come back. You want to give them what they want. In the sense of treatment planning for them. Now, we still want to prioritize, if they need an extraction, that's much higher than whitening, but we still need to talk about whitening if that's what they wanted to talk about, right? So you got to kind of honor why they came to see us. Okay, so that's going to take, about 20 minutes. Honestly, when you get good, it should take about 10. Okay, but we'll give it 20 minutes. Now, once we have the x-rays and all the paperwork's filled in, who's going to come in? The doctor. Okay, the doctor's going to come in for about 10 minutes. Okay, and he's going to take a look at the teeth. And what he's going to do is he's going to look at the teeth, and then he's going to shout stuff to you, and you're going to write it down. So that's your job. Number 3 is MOD. Number 3 is MOD. Number 4 has a DO. Number 7 needs a root canal. Number 8 needs this. You're just writing this all down, right? So he goes through this pretty quickly. So usually around 10 minutes is how long he's in the appointment. Now, once the doctor leaves, then we're going to put all of this stuff into the computer and make sure that it's treatment planned properly. So we're going to make a list. Okay, this is top priority. This extraction, this tooth is infected. It needs to come out first, and then we're going to move on from there. Okay, so that is now going to be assistant time. Okay, and you can make all of that really assistant time after that, because from that point you're going to talk to them about prices and things like that. Sometimes you'll have the front desk come back and do that, so you don't have to do it. But you're going to leave this time to talk to your patient, to put in everything in there, and to get this patient scheduled. There's a lot of different things that you have to do. The key is the doctor is only in here for about 10 minutes, right? So he doesn't have very much to do in that appointment. You spend more time with that patient than he does in that appointment. This is why being an expanded functions dental assistant is so important, because you get to do this much stuff. Okay? So this is a comprehensive exam, okay? Now let's say that I have another patient coming in who needs a crown. Okay? It depends, well, I'll make it 2 hours. This depends on the doctor, on exactly how long this is going to be. It's really, a quick doctor would be about an hour and a half to do a crown. A newer doctor might be around 2 to 3 hours. It just depends on the doctor and how fast they are. Right out of school, they're not very quick. When they're in dental school, they get 4 hours to do one filling. It takes them that long. When you get really good, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So it does, once you get good and you get used to it, the time rolls down. So it depends on your doctor, how long it takes, how many steps they do, all kinds of things. So we're just going to assume this doctor has a 2-hour appointment, okay? So we'll put our line over here. So this is a crown on number 8. Okay, so CRN is an abbreviation for crown. And this patient will be very soon. Okay, so for this patient, when they first come in, they have already been seen. We don't have to take any x-rays. So the first thing we're going to do is put a slash, because the first thing we do is place topical, which is what we do. Take the blood pressure, and then once that is in, doctor comes in for about 5 minutes and does the anesthetic. Then we're going to wait for that to work, depending on the patient. So we'll just leave that one blank for waiting. Then the doctor's going to come back in and prep the tooth. After that, the assistant's going to make the temporary, pretty much all of that, right? So doctor is really in the room for this for about 20, sometimes 30 minutes. We'll put 30 just to be on the safe side. Okay, so the first time he's in here is for anesthetic. The next time is this 30 minutes for him to do the prep. You do everything else for that procedure. There are a lot of expanded functions you do in that specific procedure, and we'll talk about that later, but there are a lot of things that you do. So I want you to kind of see where the doctor is, because that is what you need to be able to see back and forth, right? Because I need to schedule someone right here. This is open, there's nothing here, so what kind of appointment can I put there? Now, I see a doctor who's spending this 30 minutes here with a patient, so can I put something here where it's going to take a lot of doctor time? No, we don't want to do that, right? You could put, let's say we put a post-op here, and then we could put an impression here, right? So an impression is all assistant time, that's all you, right? A post-op is really all you. The doctor may come in and look at it, depends on how much he trusts you. But those are little appointments that you would want to put next to something like this, right? Because you can see where the doctor is going to be bouncing from here to there to here, you know, and you're going to be going back and forth, okay? Now what you don't want to do is this. So let's say we have a filling, right? So we'll do number 3, MOD, right? And this patient is, okay? For filling, again, same thing, topical, anesthetic, we're gonna wait, and then doctor, and then assistant time. That's basically how that breaks down. Now let's say that this was open, and someone called and said, oh, I need a filling, do you have something available? And you say, oh yeah, we're open right here at 11, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, so we're gonna do another filling. Let's say it's number 12, MO, right? And this patient is, all right, so same thing, anesthetic, waiting, doctor, assistant, okay? So when you look at this, okay, you're gonna see the doctor is now in 2 places at once, here and here. And then there are 2 places at once, here and here. How can one doctor be in the same place twice, right? So that means someone's waiting. Either Ashley's waiting or Jack is waiting. One or the other, we don't know. Depends on the day and what goes on. But one of them is gonna wait, one of them is gonna be pissed off, and guess what? That means one of them is going to take longer. So now, one of them is now cutting into your lunch break, right? So now, we have all this time where this assistant has to stay for lunch to fix that. All because we put 2 fillings next to each other at the same exact time. It's impossible to do that. So when you're scheduling, it's really important that you stagger your doctor and when they're going to be in the room and when, right? So the morning looks pretty good because, you know, we can kind of stagger back and forth. Does that make sense? So you can kind of go back and forth and have that availability for the doctor to go back. But this is what messes you up. This is what we call a bottleneck, meaning that the doctor can be in 2 places at once and that somebody's going to wait and someone's going to be mad. So when you are scheduling, these are things you need to pay attention to: where the doctor is, at what specific time, how long it takes them to do that procedure, and where you can put them and can't, okay? So this is things to think about. Now let's say that we have an emergency patient. Emergency patients, let's say someone calls and says, oh, I'm in so much pain, I have to come in, I just need to be seen, I need to be seen, right? I have to be seen first thing this morning. Right now our whole schedule is booked up, right? There's no space anywhere. What do I do, right? So some patients, or some doctors, what they do is they leave a block right here. So they'll always keep that open for, and never put a patient here. So this will always be an emergency. Can't spell today. All right, and then they'll leave another one like somewhere down here, right? Now here's the problem. Let's say I don't have an emergency today. Nobody shows up. Now I have that 30 minutes where we don't get paid. We don't have any patients. So this can be helpful because we can get patients in sooner. But it can also, you know, tear you down because you could have met, I mean, if we did this 30 minutes together, I mean, that's an hour of our time that we could have done something that to gain, you know, some money, right, to gain our profit. Other patients or other people, what they do is they kind of they'll have a separate column for just emergency patients. And they'll put them off to the side, you know, and they'll put work in. Right? So as soon as I have time, let's say that I finished with Betty Sue faster than I thought, then, I'll move her over to right here so that, I can see her. But then you'll have another column just for work-ins, right? But here's the problem, is you have to tell your patients that they are being worked in. If you tell them, oh yeah, come in at 10 o'clock, that means they're expecting to be seen at 10 o'clock. And if they have to wait, they're going to be upset. So if you have an emergency patient call, it's important that you say over the phone, great, we'd love to be able to see you today. Come on over as soon as you can. 10 o'clock will work great. Just so you know, we have a full schedule today, and our staff is well aware you're coming, and we're going to work you in as fast as we can, but there will be somewhat of a wait, right? Boom. When she walks in, she's not expecting to be seen at 10 a.m., right? When she walks in the door, you say, hey, Miss Jones, thank you for coming in. Sorry to hear that you're in pain. The staff is working really hard to get you a chair. As soon as we have something available, we'll be coming to get you, right? Again, 2 times I've told them they're gonna wait. Then now, let's say finally it's been an hour. She waited an hour to be seen. That's fine. Guess what? I've told her twice. She's expecting to be waiting, right? When she comes back, I say, thank you so much for waiting. We really appreciate it. We worked really hard to get you back. We're here to help you. How can I help? So now it's almost a favor. It's almost like, wow, you did all of that for me. Like, I really appreciate it. Like, instead of them being pissed off, just by communicating with them, you've now told them what's going on, and then they are appreciative of what you're doing, right? So emergency patients can be done several different ways. It kind of depends on the office and what's going on. This is kind of a general way of scheduling. Every office is going to be different. Some offices will have like a template on it, and that way you can tell where you can put patients. So let's say this is a template. Okay, so we'll have this spot open, and this will represent an extraction. Okay, so if I have an extraction, I have an extraction spot open here. And then I have another one here, and this will represent a crown. Okay, and then you have another one here, which would also recommend a crown. Now, when you're scheduling, you don't want to get a bunch of little appointments together, because if you're doing a bunch of little appointments all day, you don't make very much money. You want to have big appointments mixed in with little appointments, okay? So this one, for example, the crown procedure, this is about $1,500 that we made in 2 hours, okay? This billing will probably be, around, I don't know, 200. This would be around 200. This comp exam will be probably 100, if that. Again, this is not an actual patient. This is just an opening just to be open. And this impression is going to be probably 20 bucks, right? So overall, we've made, let's see, around $2,000, right? Now, if I stagger only filling, I've only made, $600 or something, right? So you want to make sure you have a big appointment mixed in with little appointments, a big appointment mixed in with other little appointments. That's how you're going to ensure that you make money every day, and that you can see patients and make sure that you're keeping up with everything. Make sure you get a bonus every month, and to schedule properly. So these are things you want to think of when you are scheduling. I highly suggest when you get to your office that you sit down with someone and say, how do you guys schedule? Because every office is different. Some of them will have templates, so you'll already know. If I have someone on the phone that says, oh, I want to schedule for that extraction, and say, oh, well, I have a 1 o'clock available. Let's go ahead and put you in there. You already know where to put them because there's a template there. Others will be blank, and you're just going to have to know where the doctor is. And that's why a lot of the front desk are dental assistants, because they need to know this stuff. They need to know where the doctor's going to bounce back and forth in the procedures, and know what can be seen and when. Again, this is just general, just ideas of what to think about when you get out into the field. So when you get out there, I highly suggest that you talk to them and see what they do at their office. But these are just some ideas of what to think about when scheduling at your office when you guys get there. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a good day.